The chaotic and terrifying parts of Norwegian folklore have just gotten a modern makeover in this dark, new Scandinavian horror film. Netflix just dropped the latest trailer for this flick, and it seems like it's going to be a treat for the fans. Headed by the director of The Wave and Tomb Raider, it follows a group of mismatched individuals tasked with the responsibility of stopping the destruction of Oslo by a recently awakened troll. The freshest trailer for Troll gives a closer look at the Norwegian monster. The short clip shows a behemoth being rudely awakened in the mountains of Dovre and setting out on a path of complete chaos and destruction, which ultimately draws the attention of the initially cynical government. When Nora, one of the protagonists of our story, is called on to advise the situation, she spearheads the efforts to stop the troll's advance to Oslo. The earlier trailer that was released in June was darker than the recent one. The recent one has a far lighter tone, which suggests that the feature will also have its share of humor that was previously assumed. It seems to use a monster that hasn't been used much before and was last captured in the 2011 film Troll Hunter. So, what else do we know about the movie so far? The movie is going to be 101 minutes long in English and starring Ina Marie Wilman, Kim Falk, Mads Sogard Pedersen, Gard B. Eidsvold, Paul Richard Lunderby, and Eric Vorenholt. Not much else has been revealed about the upcoming horror movie's overall plot, but what most viewers of the trailer have gathered, it seems to contain hallmarks of a message regarding climate change. The short bits from the trailer shows that the titular monster has been awakened from centuries of dormant thanks to a man-made explosion. That kind of sets the stage for the plot for a moral lesson on the consequence of mankind's interference with nature. This atmospheric horror follows paleontologist Nora Tideman as she launches an investigation into the suspicious and destructive happenings deep inside the mountain of Dovre. The government is desperate to find a logical explanation for the occurrences and puts Nora on the case to do just that. What she finds, however, is that there is nothing logical about what's happening in Dovre. She's then faced with the challenge of making people believe and listen to her in time to save the people of Oslo. Most viewers have also noticed an uncanny similarity between this movie and others like King Kong and Godzilla. Audiences might expect to find out that the ultimate threat isn't the troll itself, but rather the individuals who bothered it in the first place. These elements give the movie a sharp resonance in today's day and age. With everything going on in the world, we're seeing more and more TV shows and movies involving social commentary. Even horrors and thrillers are choosing to center their plots around social issues. Take Get Out, for instance. If done right, Troll definitely has the potential to become a modern classic within the horror and thriller genres. Also, there's been a recent surge in demand for Nordic folklore tales on screen. We had movies like Midsommar and The Ritual gaining popularity among audiences, so Netflix is probably trying to deliver much of the same idea to find a new international hit. Fans of the folk, horror, and thriller genre can find Troll on Netflix from Thursday, December 1st, 2022. Let's talk about some of the best horror movies you can watch on Netflix until then. With an IMDb score of 6.2, we have Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. The name Guillermo del Toro is one that most horror fans would be excited to see attached to any horror movie. It's exciting to see his name attached to this title, which is based on the well-known and well-loved children's book with the same name. The story follows a group of young friends who come across a host of threats when reading a book full of scary stories. Some viewers were put off by the movie's PG-13 rating and felt that it didn't live up to its potential because of the rating. They didn't get the scares they were hoping for. Nevertheless, no one can complain about the creature designs and creepiness of the film. Definitely worth a watch. Next, we have Fear Street, Part 1, 1994. This one also has an IMDb score of 6.2 and pays homage to several stories within the genre. This is the first part in a fantastic trilogy that contains everything from creepy supernatural stuff to a couple of terrifying modern horror slashers. It has something for everyone. Part 1 of the installment is set in the 1990s. Many fans have found the next 2 parts to be better and more enjoyable, but the first stands out because of its likable characters, subversion of tropes, and gory death scenes. The Ritual has an equal rating of 6.2. Because of the slew of horror movies on Netflix, this one may have gone unnoticed by most people. The movie is about a group of friends who set off on a hiking trip and find themselves in a haunted forest stalked by an evil entity. The tone throughout the movie is dark and ominous, which is super effective for conveying the story in an intriguing and suspenseful manner. When the creepiness takes over, things escalate quickly and shockingly, giving horror fans a chance to experience some extremely creative and horrifying monsters. Creep puts a spin on things and makes for a great thriller. Most horror fans expect supernatural elements and masked killers in their horror movies. Creep proves that these things aren't always needed to make a truly creepy film. The found footage movie follows a videographer who takes on a job recording the final days of a dying man. Over time, the subject begins to make things very uncomfortable, to say the least. This movie is overflowing with awkward social situations and a villain that is more bizarre than any supernatural antagonist you'll come across. Coming up next, we have His House, a more recent release. This Netflix horror offering is an acclaimed and creepy ghost story with an IMDb score of 6.4. The story follows a refugee couple trying to settle into the house they've been given to find shelter in. Things only get worse as they find out an evil spirit comes with the house. This one had a couple of real-life horror elements coupled with supernatural ones, which may make it difficult to watch for some. It makes for a scary and powerful gem in the horror genre. Definitely a movie that more people need to watch. Up next, Gerald's Game, another extremely underrated one. Many of Stephen King's novels have been adapted into movies, but this one is probably the least watched. The story follows a married couple going through troubles in their relationship. They drive off to a private cabin in the woods to reignite their spark. That's when the unexpected happens, putting the wife in a position where she has to fight for her life. We won't give anything else away because this one has some great twists. It seems like a simple setup at first, but the ride is gripping with excellent performances, unexpected elements, and some of the most disturbing scenes in the recent horror movie genre. Consider yourself warned. Hush adds an interesting twist to the home invasion horror movie trend. These kinds of movies have been a pretty big part of the genre, but Hush adds something more to it. It focuses on a deaf woman who is the target of a home invasion by a masked killer. What makes this movie so great is the combination of great elements that work together very well to deliver something that will keep you at the edge of your seat, all the way from the stressful sequences to the intimidating villain and the bad hero. This is one you need to put on your list. It Follows is another masterpiece. With an IMDb score of 6.8, this one includes one of the most terrifying horror movie curses. It follows the story of a young woman after having sexual relations with a man has a curse placed on her. The curse involves an evil entity stalking her ruthlessly, vowing to kill her if it ever catches her. This one is going to leave you with an inescapable sense of threat because of how well it uses such a unique idea to create the nerve-wracking atmosphere of this movie. And finally, let's close up with It 2017. At 7.3, the It remake is another Stephen King adaptation that we can't get enough of. It brings one of King's most iconic characters to life and does it extremely well. The story follows a story of outcast kids who come together to form a sort of bond while being terrorized by the same evil force. This movie does not shy away from showing you everything, and we mean everything. The dynamic between the young characters is fun, and the main villain of the story, the clown, Pennywise, is a true iconic horror movie villain. Well, that's all we have for you guys today. Are you excited about Troll? What are some of your favorite horror flicks? Let us know all your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share, and hit the subscribe button for more content just like this.